I'm Shez from One Bite More. Now, one of the things I've been craving since I got back from Egypt is freshly made pita bread. So that's what we're going to be making today. I've just started off with some plain flour. We've got 1 3/4 cups here, which is about 6 ounces for those of you still using imperial measurements. I also have a teaspoon each of salt, sugar, and 1.5 teaspoons of freeze-dried yeast. We also have 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Now I'm just going to put the yeast, salt and sugar in with the flour, stir a little bit to combine, and then just add the olive oil, a nice trickle there. And we're just going to use our hands to mix this around whilst adding 1/2 cup of nice warm water. Now we don't want it too hot or it'll kill the yeast. So let's try and go for about body temperature. If you're burning your fingers, it's probably a little bit too hot. This is making a little bit of a mess. Okay. Once we've incorporated this into a dough, we're just going to knead it for about 5 minutes. It's going to be a very, very sticky dough, so I'd suggest that you really, really flour your bench top. Okay. So that's formed a nice squidgy dough like that, and you can just see how moist and sticky it is here. I'm going to knead that for 5 minutes, and when I come back, I'll show you what it looks like. So here's the dough after 5 minutes of kneading. It's quite smooth, but it's still very, very sticky, so you're going to have to use a lot of flour when you're kneading it. If you can see, when I'm poking it, it's got a little bit of spring back, and that's how you know the gluten's been fully developed. What I'm going to do now is leave it for an hour just to rest and rise. It should double in volume, and in order to help that, I'm just going to put a bit of Glad wrap on top of it, and then cover the whole lot in a tea towel just to keep it nice and warm. If you can find a nice warm spot, that will help. Otherwise, just stick it closest to your sister when she's sleeping, and that normally works. So our pita mixture has been chilling out in the sun with my sister's rabbit for an hour, and it has doubled in size. So we're just going to unwrap it from the Glad wrap here, if we can, and just pry it away from the bowl a little bit. Probably should have oiled the bowl before letting it rise. Tips for next time. And what we're going to do is we're going to separate it as best we can into 4 parts. I've just laid some Glad wrap down on this table, which will make it slightly easier for us to do this. Very sticky dough. That one is small. And all we need to do now is just, using our hand, squish it out into a bit of an oval shape. And we want it sort of about the size of one hand, like that. And the Glad wrap will really, really help with us trying to lift it up from the bench top later before we bake it. Once we flatten them out, we need to leave them for about 15 minutes just to do their second proofing. But in the meantime, what I have here is a mortar and pestle with just a tablespoon of polenta and a tablespoon of fennel seeds in it. And I'm just going to crush that so we can sprinkle it on the top afterwards. So I'll do that, we'll let these rise, and I'll be right back. Okay, so these have been sitting for about 15 minutes, and I've sprinkled some of our polenta and fennel seed crushed on the top of them. I've thrown 2 trays in the oven, and they're just heating at 220 degrees Celsius, which is really, really hot, but it needs to be hot in order for the pitas to puff up. I'm just going to grab one. Put it down quickly, sprinkle some water on it so that the pitas don't stick, and grab your pita bread. Down it goes. Hopefully this one's a bit more successful. There we go. bit more of the fennel and polenta seed mixture on top. And we're putting it straight back into the oven for 6 to 7 minutes. And fingers crossed they puff up. Whew. Okay, so they have puffed up. I probably spread them a little bit too thin, but excuse the chopsticks. There we have some really lovely, puffy, yeasty pita bread. It's got a nice pocket in the middle if I just cut one open and show you. Here we go. Again, really hot. There you have it. Ah! Pocket bread! And you can fill it with just about anything. Or you can eat it fresh, if your tongue can handle the heat. I'll see you next time. Okay, a couple of hints for next time that I didn't do properly this time around. See what happened here? Really flat, non-pockety pita bread. Sad. What I should have done is oiled that piece of cling wrap before I laid the dough out, and that would have allowed for a much quicker transfer. Instead what happened was I stretched it out a little bit too much. Pockets didn't rise. Hope that helps you if you try it at home. Thanks.